Okay, class, in continuations with your history, theme 6, that is Bhakti Sufi traditions, today we are going to explain on the growth of Sufism, page 153. Okay, first let's see the meaning of Sufism. Sufism is an English word coined in the 19th century, and the word used for Sufism in Islamic texts is called the tasawwuf. Historians have understood this term in several ways. So, according to some scholars, it is derived from saft, meaning wool, referring to the coarse woolen clothes worn by the Sufis, and other scholars derived it from safa, meaning purity. So in the early centuries of Islam, a group of religious-minded people called Sufis, drawn through asceticism and mysticism in protest against the growing materialisms of the Caliphate as a religious and political institution. So these Sufis laid emphasis on seeking salvation through intense devotions and love for God by following his commands and by following the examples of this Prophet Muhammad, whom they regarded as perfect human being. So these Sufis sought an interpretations of the Quran on the basis of their personal experience. Okay, Sufi means wool. Chuan Sufi chu samul puan. Nani. Oh, Zia chu kha Sufi, religious-minded people. Sa kholama inpemi kan ti te khan Quran hangai lawa. Kha ul samul puan kha an sin thin ani chu chuan kha Sufi te khan in sa kholama khan in thununin tharau nena pathian po tumin an taksa te sheoman tortir thin ani. Nga tinge khatianga an ti thin na anin tortir thin kan ti chuan an sa kholu ber caliphate religious head of the Muslim kan ti te ven nan mo omzia chu caliphate te ti sa khovela an tlan lutuk tur ven nan or do nan ani chu chuan Sufi te hianin Prophet Muhammad hi soisel bo mithiang hlim fam ki man ngai ni chumi ti chiang tur chuan heng Sufi te hianin an mani mimal experience atangin Quran hi an soifia thin ani. And next we go to this Kangak and silsilas. Kangak is a building designed specially for gatherings of this Sufi brotherhood and is a place for spiritual retreat and character reformations. Silsila means a chain, signifying a continuous link between masters and disciples, stretching as an unbroken spiritual genealogies of this Prophet Muhammad. So these Sufis mainly focuses on the renunciations of these worldly things, purifications of the soul, and the mystical contemplations of God's natures, and the followers try to get close to God by seeking spiritual learning known as tarika. Okay? Kangak hi Sufi mithiang hlimte mo in mu khom na mun ania in u naw na Sufi te na in u naw na in kung kai na thattak an nei the nan hem huna hianin tharau lama ni se an hnung tol lo nan le an ma ni mimal in tuai thar nan khanga ka hianin hun an mang thin ani chuan Sufi omzia chu khovel nom chen na le nom sit bol na ban sana tharau ne na pathian ngai tua ani ber tinani chu Okay, next is the Chistis in the subcontinent. The Chistis were the most influential of the Sufi groups who migrated to India in the late 20th century, they easily adapted to the local environment and adopted several features of these Indian devotional traditions. The Kangak was the centers of this social life. Okay, let's understand this Kangak with Sheikh Nizamuddin's hospice. What is hospice? A hospice is a type of medical treatment that helps take care of the people who are very sick. Ani daw pon, hospice to a home provided for the sick ti pon kan soy thay. Oh, okay, in the 14th century, this Sheikh Nizamuddin has his hospice. Hospice ka Nizamuddin na hiya na ni koi muna nge. On the bank of the river Yamuna, hospice lian tep me ka sani in Gijaspur on the outskirts of the cities of this Delhi. It comprised kami hospice kanin. Nge room lian to kaneya hall zau te me nei bokani visitors te le prayer na tur te prayer hall te po vekani. Let's see here, it comprised several rooms and a big hall where the inmates and visitor lives and pray. These inmates includes family members of the sheikh, his attendant and disciples, and the sheikh lived in a small room on the top of the hall where he met his visitors in the morning and evening, and a veranda surrounded by a big courtyard was there, and there was a boundary wall around the complex. And on the other hand, this kangak is also used by people from neighboring areas fearing of these Mughal invasions. They seek refuge here. Okay, and next we go to Chishti devotionalism. Pilgrimage called ziyarat to tombs of this Sufi saint is prevalent all over the Muslim world. This practice is an occasion for seeking the Sufis' spiritual grace. Okay, ziyarat hi an mithiang hlim te thlan ania tharau lama pathian zangai na an don theinan kum khata voi khatal an mithiang hlim te thlan hi an tlo thin ani. And the most revered shrine of the 14th century was this Khwaja Moinuddin, popularly known as Gazir Nawaz. Hi pathian biak na mai cham ania. Hemi pathian biak na mai cham hi comforter of the poor ti hial ani mirthei te chom dol tu ti ni chu. Oh, chuan by the 16th century, the shrine had become very popular. Even this Akbar visited the tomb for 14 times. Okay, Garij Nawachi Akbar po khanin voisom palilai me atlo ani so. Oh, also this ziyarat was also used for this music and dance, including mystical chants performed by these specially trained musicians or these qawwalis to evoke divine ecstasy. Okay, ziyarat hianin rimoy ten tumani mo lam lampang te pon ti thinani an lam ruyan hlim rui vel thin ti nani so. Okay, chuan language and communications. The Chistis adopted local languages. In Delhi, those associated with the Chistis silsilas converts in Hindavi, the language of the people. Other Sufis like this Baba Farid composed verses in local languages which were incorporated with this Guru Granth Sahib. A different genre of this Sufi poetry was composed, and around the towns of this Bijapur, Karnataka and other compositions were there in the forms of these lullabies and this sadinanya or this wedding song. Chongshang te po annei ni chongshang shang annei local language kan ti kha mo chuan Now oi hlate le in nei ni khua an sak tur bi khlate po an nei ve thlap ani chu. Sufi and the state. A major features of the Chisti's traditions was austerity, including maintaining of distance from this worldly power. Chistis ina athurotsia chu nge tlom takanun le khovel hausak na bansan ani top many. The Chistis accepted donations in cash and kind. Also, there were intense conflict between the sultans and the Sufis. Sultans ganti chuan religious head of the Muslim le Sufis in Kara Khanin buaina chuak chin tinani chu. So in order to assert their authority, both accept to perform this certain ritual as well. New devotional paths, dialogues and descent in modern India. Many poet saints engage in explicit and implicit dialogues with these new social situations, ideas and institutions. Okay, let's see. Weaving a divine fabric about this Kabir. Kabir is one of the outstanding examples of the poet saint. Kabir Das was raised by this poor Muslim family belonging to this community of a weaver who were relatively converted into Islam. Kabir's poems have survived in several languages and dialects, and some are composed in special languages of these Nirguna poets. The Shan Baksha are written in the forms of which these everyday meanings are inverted. So this Kabir valuable legacy, which is relevant for later generations, was claimed by these several groups, which is most evident in later debates about whether he was a Hindu or the Muslim by birth. And next we go to Guru Nanak and his sacred words. Baba Guru Nanak 1469 to 1539 was born in a Hindu merchant family in a village called Nankana Sahib near the river Ravi in the predominantly this Muslim Punjab. Guru Nanak traveled widely and spent most of his time among the Sufis and the Bhaktas. Ahun tamzok chu mithiang lim Sufis le Bhaktas tebula amang tinani chu. The message enge Baba Guru Nanak hianin thucha ane le. The message of this Guru Nanak is spelled out in his hymns and teaching. This suggests that he advocates a form of Nirguna Bhakti. Pathian biagna chuan Nirguna Bhakti ka advocate ani. Chuan Nirguna Bhakti kan ti chuan nge ni kha explanation masazoka po meaning kan soito kha. Nirguna Bhakti means Pathian biag big an nei lo ane. And this he rejected sacrifice, ritual bards, image worship, austerity and the scripture of both this Hindu and the Muslim. According to this Baba Guru Nanak, the absolute had no gender or form. He proposed a simple way to connect to this divine by remembering and repeating the divine name through hymns called Shabad in Punjab. Okay, so in the late 17th century, the 10 preceptor means 32 of this Guru Gobind Singh included the compositions of the 9th Guru Tej Bahadur, and his scripture was called the Guru Granth Sahib. Okay, and this Guru Gobind Singh also laid the foundations of this Khalsa Panth. And next we go to Mirabai. Mirabai, the devotee princess. Mirabai, 15th to 16th century, is the best known woman poet with the Bhakti traditions. Mirabai was a Rajput princess from Merta in Marwar. She was married against her wishes to Prince of the Sidodia clan of Marwar, Rajasthan. She defied her husband and she did not submit herself to the traditional role as wife and a mother. Instead, she recognized Krishna, the avatars of this Vishnu, as her lover. So her mother-in-law tried to poison her, but she escaped from the palace and lived as a wandering singer, composing songs that are characterized by instant expressions of these emotions. Okay. Ole Mirabai kan soi mayan Chistis te kha kan soi le lokanga Chistis te hi 20th century nulama khanin Indian rama anron lu ta Indian rama anron lu khanin anron in siam reng zung zung ai Indian rama an pathian biak te an zoma thanem ngai takin pathian rong te an bol ve ni ti kha sia tur o chuan Mirabai kha Mirabai hi Rajput lalnu ania lal ania adu lo chungin a chung ten apain Sidodia lal kha anei lui tirani mo apasal kha apom lo ani apoisa lo ani mo ange an hnam dan te kha zom thei lawa apasal aya Vishnu an pathian kha a hmangai apom tlat ani chuan voi kha chu apasal anu hianin tura hrai hluma tum nge nge ani ma se vanei thlak takin a pum pela apasal chu a chhuah san ta ni chuan vak vai takin a awma a thinlunga a vei em hla in a phua lung leng em mai na awm ani chuan Mirabai hi kan hriat tur chu sakhawlama in pe mi tak ani ti kha kan lo hre dawn nia and this Mirabai preceptors was Raidas. Okay, he was a leather worker, which indicate her defense of norms of this caste system. After rejecting all her comforts, she donned white robes of widow or these saffron robes of these renounce. Okay, hemi omzia chu akor ha khi omzia chu white hianin Hindu hoina an pasal sun na pasal sun an ni ti an tira chuan saffron hianin pathian ta na insertion na akok ani Mirabai hi lalfanu ni ma se caste system chi le kwang in thliar ran na kha adu lo ado tlat ani. Now we came to the conclusion, that is reconstructing histories of religious traditions. The devotional worships of God with ultimate objectives of attaining moksha, salvation, is called Bhakti. And the word Bhakti was derived from the root word Bhaj, meaning to adore. So, the impact of these Bhakti movements of the Indian society was significant and far-reaching. So almost all these religious traditions continue to flourish till today because of these Bhakti traditions. So this continuity has certain advantages for these historians, as it allows them to compare contemporary practice with those described in the textual traditions or shown in these old paintings, and to trace changes. Okay. Hemi Sufi atang hianin historians Sufi traditions mo Bhakti traditions atang hian historians hianin sa khang ina an practice chin tun hnu le tun hma kha an han compare nge hnu hma chui sul hnu chui te po kha alo ol sam ta em mai ni khati zong kha voina kan explain the ni ya. Thank you all.